So every now and then I'm still on the lookout for Batman the Animated Series figures when the prices are good or when the bundle is so big that I just want to purchase it, see what I need for my personal collection, which figures I can upgrade. So I put the best paintwork in my personal collection and the other figures I will resell to recoup some of the money and maybe make some money in the meantime. So Justice League Unlimited was a very interesting line. So the three things that make a magic line like Justice League Unlimited is one, the character selection, two, the amount of characters, and three, the simplicity of the designs. Now, over the years, I've collected a great lot of figures, and Justice League Unlimited was just an extended collection to me for the Batman the Animated Series line. And I didn't watch Batman the Animated Series when I was younger. I only started, I believe, like 12 years ago. I only was able to watch Mask of the Phantasm and I believe a few Batman Beyond, or what we call it here, Batman of the Future, on television. That never really occurred to me that there was more to it, and I've never really looked into it until one day I saw a Batwing on a like local eBay secondhand website. I purchased that and I figured I want to see if there's more to this, and then I started to get into the world of collecting Batman the Animated Series and so forth. I always promised myself that I would just collect Batman the Animated Series, but that quickly dissolved that idea into many different lines and figures and different scales. And I never thought I would pay more than 20 or 30 bucks for one single figure, but yet here we are, and I'm paying like 300 euros for a single figure or a vehicle, and it's just getting crazy. But then again, collecting back then wasn't as crazy, so it's not really comparable because it was really easy to buy big lots and buy boxed figures, and collecting just went through the roof after the pandemic, basically. And here we are. So 10 years later, I got a really big collection of Justice League Unlimited figures, and I'm happy to share them with you. But before I do that, I want to show you what I purchased in this specific bundle. It's, I think, close to 100 figures. There's a lot of figures that I do have already, so those figures will just be resold and be distributed, cleaned up, and then, sold off to other collectors. And what's always fun is that Batman the Animated Series and Justice League Unlimited and the new Batman Adventures always sells well. So these big bundles are always very interesting to me, and they seem to be very cheap in America and relatively expensive in Europe because they're hard to get here and not a lot of the Justice League Unlimited lines were available here. The problem and the beauty is the same thing in the Justice League Unlimited line, and there are so many figures to be collected that it's difficult to keep track of. And if you want to keep track of it, you need these big checklists and all of these figures and see which variants you have. And that's a big thing with this. Variants, I don't really care for variants, but if I get a few of them in, as you can see here, I get like 3 Flash figures, and there's like a metallic one, a red and gold one, and a red and yellow one, which is a little bit cleaner. Then I'll just decide to keep them because the more and more complete the collection is for me, the easier it will be for me to give it closure, I believe. And it's obviously not true because you're never done collecting, but if you have the opportunity like this and I get a big bundle for very cheap, then it's really easy for me to say, okay, these guys are going in a collection as well, and the more the merrier. One other thing that I like to do is just see if the paintwork is better and then upgrade my figures. So the better paintwork goes in the collection and the lesser paintwork is going to be sold to other collectors if they think it's good enough, or just people want to customize these figures, because there's a lot of these figures on the market which are absolutely trashed or ugly or destroyed or damaged, and I always throw those in the fodder bins that I have for potential customs in the future. And it's fun to do. They're very interesting to look at because of the simplicity of the designs and the amount of characters. I don't know a lot of characters of Justice League Unlimited, so I'm not going to try, but I can always tell that if there's a more rare character for me in there, that I'm very eager to pick them out as fast as possible because I just barely see any for a decent price or in these big bundles. So I always jump on the opportunity to buy it. And that's the fun of this. It's a really big collection if you want it all. I don't want it all, but it's just easy if you buy bundles and you get them over time if you do this anyway. So that's really it for me. It's like a sideline that I collect. I don't actively look for it, but if the opportunities arise, I'll jump on it and then I'll add some value to my collection. And to my surprise, there were around 20 characters in here with a few customs. I don't really care for other people's customs, but it is interesting to see them included in a bundle and then seeing it be something that you are interested in or would like to make in the future. Then you have a really good starting base and to go further from there. But most of the time I do keep those because it's unique and it makes the collection more unique for myself. And yeah, it's just something else. So it's always interesting to see, even though I don't really look for it. So there's around 20 characters in this specific bundle that I didn't have yet. And a lot of these characters might not even be like rare or like they might be widely available in the United States. But here in Europe, it's again very difficult to get some of these figures. And that's why I stopped looking for them, because it's a lot of money for these older figures. They basically all look the same, just have a different stripe of paint or a different color. And yeah, it's not worth it to me anymore to collect it actively. So it's just passively collecting when the opportunity arises. There's a few things from Justice League Unlimited that modern toy lines can learn from. And it's the consistency. They've done this over many, many years. I believe they started in the early 2000s and they rounded up like 10 years later, which is a long run for an action figure line. And they were consistent in the figures that they were releasing. They listened to the fans. They released fan exclusives, and I wasn't there to enjoy it in the moment, but I do feel like this is one of the most consistent lines that there is in means of action figure collecting, well, ever since it really got popping. That's why the DC Multiverse line is odd to begin with, because it was first 6-inch and then we went to 7-inch scale. There's so much wrong with that. Imagine like Mattel giving over the line to someone else in the meantime, someone else continuing on with the Justice League Unlimited line, and then just giving it a different scale. So they went from like, I believe it was like 4-inch scale, they went to 5-inch scale. So they would be mismatched and make all the characters again and again and again. And that's the biggest problem, I do believe, that there's with the modern day toy lines. They don't really do as well in means of DC. The DC Multiverse going to 7-inch scale was the worst mistake they could have done, in my opinion. And I do hope to see that it's gonna change back to 6-inch scale. Not true 6-inch, but you know what I mean, the modern day 6-inch scale. At least so it fits with the other stuff. And that's the more important thing for modern day toy lines. So McFarlane, yes, I'm looking at you. I'm not happy that you lost the license, but I am happy that Mattel is regaining the license. And I do hope that we're going back to the original scale or just a slightly smaller scale, maybe something in between. It's not for the consistency, but for me, it would be the perfect scale. But smaller would be better for me, not below 6-inch scale. So a lot of characters, a lot of things to be discussed. And again, the beauty of Justice League Unlimited over all of these years. And I do not know how many figures that I still need to collect for Justice League Unlimited, and I don't want to find out because I just don't care. When I get a collection, I'll put them next to all of my bins with Justice League Unlimited figures inside of them. I'll have a look, I'll compare, and I'll see which ones I'm missing. And some are so unique that it's like so easy to spot, but at this moment, if you give me a test and I need to write down all of the characters that I have for the Justice League Unlimited line, I would not know and I would not pass, probably. So yeah, let me know how your experience is with Justice League Unlimited. Do you still actively collect it? And if the prices are getting crazy, or how do you collect it? Whatever. Let's just talk about it. I think it's really interesting. And again, it's just a line that pops up every now and then for me, and makes a re-entry in the daily life, because it's a lot of stuff to figure out and to see which character is which, and if I have a certain variant or not. Not that I care so much about them, but if you have like multiple of the same Green Lantern in the same colors, in the same condition, it's a waste. So it takes some time to figure all that out. But in the end, it's a fun line to have on the sides. But then again, I don't know if I will ever put this up. So who am I kidding? Is this just a sunk cost fallacy, or is this really a nice line that I enjoy collecting? We'll probably know the answer to that. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.